Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to TMM News Troublemaker Media. I'm looking at the wrong fucking spot. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for joining me. Our last broadcast was quite amazing. It's beautiful. We talked about a lot of shit, but we didn't get to everything. So this is a very special broadcast. Our very first broadcast of TMM News. We have three of the troublemakers on deck for tonight. Our fourth will straggle the fuck on in here and whatnot and give us his pop culture and motorcycle insight. That would be wonderful and fucking amazing. I am the Ray Bay, your host for the evening, and our main guest has much more to talk about on the Kyle Rittenhouse situation. I'm going to bring him on right now, Pastor Taylor, the pathetic theist.
Troublemaker Media, baby.
Troublemaker Media. Yeet.
We are officially the alternative media because we need an alternate to this fucking debate, this atheocracy.
I agree.
Right, these atheists, literally, like they consume their own farts.
Okay, like, you sent me the link. All right.
This is how if we're to imitate the modern media, we'll just make something up, like Matthew's a homosexual, and we'll keep that. Everything we report on, we'll keep that conclusion that we've already made. Matthew's a homo, so if Matthew's not a homo, then why does he like dicks and shit? And keep the right. That's called the begging the question fallacy, and that's how this media pretends. Like when we're dealing with these Kyle people, they're not budging from this pre-conclusion that he's a murderer. So there's no reasoning with them beyond that because he's always the murderer, pre-concluded. Today we got President Trump opening a can of worms. The problem with this is we've already pre-concluded that the liberals are fucking desperate idiots. And they want to, they'll do anything to get their fucking not socialism. Just get somebody in the White House to pretend like they're making the country socialist. So
not to cut you short. Let me just address this real quick. Thank you once again to Madre for your insightful commentary. Greatly appreciate that. Such an embarrassment. I appreciate being an embarrassment to what I have no idea.
You know what that
Trump
means?
Is an Edo. Yes, exactly. Trump is an Edo. He is part of the.
They think he's a pedo, and that's another liberal pre-conclusion.
No, she spelled it correctly. Edo. She spelled Edo. He's the Edo tribe in the feudal Japan.
I agree. There's reason to believe he's a pedo. Ray Bay.
Fucking weirdos. Thank you. Greatly appreciate your support. Really. And go ahead, Taylor. You can continue. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Her name means "fuck your mother" in a very poor Spanish.
Yeah.
That's what.
Is that what that means? A puta sucia.
No.
Fuck
your mother's a bitch. Yeah, your mother's a bitch. Right. Puta. Right. Fuck your mother. Your mother's a bitch. In really poor Spanish. What I add?
Her name is not very suitable.
Not very Spanish.
For work.
It's not very accurate Spanish.
Ladies and gentlemen. Not very. I thought she was Spanish.
Yeah, because like here in California, when you want to say "fuck your mom," you say "chinga tu madre." Right, puta madre. That's like son of a bitch. Right? It doesn't mean the same thing. It's
madre. If you are more than welcome.
Yeah, tu madre is your mother. Puta's bitch, but it also means fuck in some like French. It's the same thing.
Madre, you are more than welcome to hop onto this this live here if you want, and address me personally, face to face, or just voice to voice. I'd be happy to hear what you have to say.
Just pronounce it the way it's intended. Don't be culturally insensitive. Her name's "fuck your mother." Address her.
Madre, a puta sucia.
Yeah, puta madre. Fuck your mother. Fuck your mother. Come on and join.
A puta sucia. I like her name. I like that name.
Fuck your mother.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful name.
Anyway, we're talking today. Trump opened up a can of worms in a very liberal kind of way, where we just preclude that the liberals are telling the truth. So, like, I'm gonna believe now that the liberals didn't know this about Trump 2 years ago and waited till now to tell us. Now that Biden's obviously failing in polls.
Mm-hmm.
So
just like how they waited with what's his face? What's that guy? Brett Kavanaugh.
Yeah.
You know,
wait to tell us he's a rapist, right? They don't like him. They'll wait to tell it. So now that he's there in the news, well, let's tell them about the stuff we knew about him without telling you before.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't warn us about Brett Kavanaugh. They waited till he got picked and then told us, oh, well, we have sexual allegations. That's the same thing. I was saying the same shit when they did that to Biden. I'm like, why is this Tara Reid bitch coming out about Biden now? If like nobody said anything in 1998 when she came forward with that shit, why they wait till now? Nobody's stupid enough to believe these people. That's why there's a necessity for troublemakers to cover the media as it was. And finally, after all the cognitive dissonance that I deal with on liberals on a day-to-day basis, right? Just like in the Obama years, man, I had the same problem with conservatives. Now in the Trump years, we have the problem with liberals, cognitive dissonance. But through all the cognitive dissonance, Rebe, we got the video that they're saying confirms the other fake news is confirming other fake news. And I'll send it to your inbox.
Right. I got it right here. I got it up and ready to roll. Here, let me get it set to share. Let's see. This is real juicy. This is where he said he made disparaging comments on U.S. servicemen and women. What smokes? President Trump is a wild card. This guy is I don't know if we want this guy as our fucking president. Oh, there we go. There's a sexy name right there. Kamala Harris. Love it. Let me big screen that so everyone can fucking see it.
John, I've spoken with two senior U.S. officials who were on the trip to France who confirmed to me key details in the Atlantic article and the quotes attributed to the president. My source, a former Trump administration official, told me when the president spoke about the Vietnam War, he said it was a stupid war. Anyone who went was a sucker. The president would say about American veterans, what's in it for them? They don't make any money. The source said it was a character flaw of the president. He could not understand why someone would die for their country. Not worth it. Regarding the French trip to mark the end of World War I, according to this former official, the president was not in a good mood. French President Macron had said something that made him mad. He questioned why he had to go to 2 cemeteries. Why do I have to do 2? His staff explained he could cancel, but he was warned, they, the press, are going to kill you for this. The president was mad as a hornet when they did, according to this source. When asked if the president could have driven to the Aisne-Marne cemetery, this former official said confidently that there was not a security reason not to drive to the cemetery, which was about 40 miles from Paris. Quote, the president drives a lot. The other world leaders drove to the cemeteries. He just didn't want to go. Regarding the president's July 4th military parade planning, during a planning session at the White House after seeing the Bastille Day parade in 2017, President Trump said regarding the inclusion of wounded guys, quote, that's not a good look. Americans don't like that. Regarding Senator McCain, the president, according to this source, just hated John McCain. He always asked, why do you see him as a hero? 2 sources confirmed the president did not want the flags lowered after McCain died, but others in the White House ordered them at half-mast. There was a standoff, and then the president relented. Meantime, Defense Secretary Mark
They cut her off. Put Biden on the screen. Folks. Get Biden bitch ass off. Who gives a fuck what Biden has to say?
Secretary Mark
I mean, that's out of
Biden on there. That tells us everything. I want to see the Fox act, the actual Fox. We need to find the actual Fox.
Right here.
My source, a former Trump administration official, told me when the president spoke about the Vietnam War, he said it was a stupid war.
No shit. That's what the liberals been saying. The liberals have been telling us this for the last fucking 50 years.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
Mentally
and he's
retarded.
right. President Trump is right. It was a stupid war, and anybody who went was suckers.
Muhammad Ali told us that.
We went and we were suckers for it. We shouldn't have gone in, and I agree with him there. I mean, he didn't say anything that was fucking false.
He didn't
That's
say
not
that the war
disparaging.
dead war. No.
Yeah, he didn't say that the soldiers were fucking stupid. He didn't say that they were fucking retarded or anything. He just said
He
that
says,
the
why
war
would
was
they go
stupid.
to that? There's a stupid
Yeah.
war. I don't know why would anyone would go over there and lose their life.
Who was the president? Who was the president
Muhammad
at the
Ali
time?
said the same thing. Look at Muhammad Ali's speech on the same in a total agreement with the president. Let's go to Muhammad Ali on the Vietnam War.
All right, I can look that up.
Let's see what Muhammad Ali said about this. Trump agrees with Muhammad Ali in this instance. But it's not really about that. Like yeah, I can understand, man. If you're Vietnam vets aren't the sharpest tools in the shed.
Mm-hmm.
But you can understand that they were right. They were drafted and shit. They didn't really have a choice in the matter and whatnot. Trump don't understand that because he's a rich kid. So all these people, like my uncle went to Vietnam and shit, and he came back all fucked up. Like they went to this Vietnam War and they weren't really in the war. Like the Vietnamese were like in the fucking war. Like these guys were just being sent there and shit to do patrols. So that was kind of a demoralizing war for the U.S.
Right. So here is Muhammad Ali gives a stance on the Vietnam War. Bam, right on the Cavett show.
I've sometimes wondered what you're doing.
You know, it's really strange. I'm actually more busy now than I was boxing, because at the time I was boxing, I had to go in training for like 3 months before a fight.
Yeah.
And like immediately after a fight, I was signing for another one, and I was like on the streets for like 3 weeks, and then I was back in training. And I fought as much as 3 and 4 times a year, and training 3 months for each fight. I was mostly in camp. Mm-hmm. But I'm more busy now than I was, more active in the ring. For an example, I was in Pittsburgh yesterday and toured about 3 black high schools in one day, encouraging the youth. A lot of gang wars are going on. They're shooting each other and sniping at each other on the streets. And the principals mentioned that with the things that I have done and sacrifices I have made, I'm about one of the few people that they might listen to. So I went and they did listen, and a couple of the gangs got together and we had a little secret meeting, and they shook each other's hand and said they're going to try to stop fighting and shooting. A lot of them are taking dope, and a lot of the girls are going into prostitution. And we went to the schools, we talked with the various groups, and we had a good time. And I'm on a college tour also, and my agent, Richard Fulton here in New York, says that look like we're going to be booked for another 2 years in the colleges. And I'm also franchising about 500 restaurants called Champ Burgers. So we have 5 of them in the Miami area.
Champ Burgers?
Champ Burgers, right. And we're negotiating on about 10 more buildings in Georgia, and we're coming up here and all over the country. And also Random House will be coming out soon with my life autobiography, about 4 more months. So I stay pretty busy.
That's pretty good. Is there any? How do you stand now with the possibility of going to jail?
Oh, I don't know. I'm just waiting any day now.
Do you think about? Do you think about that though? Do you ever think what you'll do if you?
Well, yes, you think about it at nights when you're in the bed. You think about, if I went this way, what could have happened if I went this way, and I've figured it all out.
Yeah.
No people gain freedom until some have to die, some lose their wealth, some give up money. And like I would say the white race, when your people first got here, they didn't have these cameras and televisions and jet airplanes and air conditions and Howard Johnson's and Holiday Inns and Americana and Hilton hotels. They had to fight the Indians, watch their daughters raped and scabbed. Took 6 months to go from here to Los Angeles. Now you can do it in 3.5 hours. But nevertheless, they kept fighting and cutting down the trees. And they didn't see this, but they made a way for the present whites to rule. And the Japanese in World War II, they had these flights called suicide missions. They knew they would die, but they ran that plane right. His life meant nothing when it came to the freedom of his daughter, his son, the future of his nation. And I would say like the astronauts, 3 white astronauts almost got stranded in space, and their wives were waiting, and the children were worried because they could have been out there now, still in orbit.
Yeah.
But for the progress of white America in space, 8 astronauts died on the ground, and 3 almost not got back. But whenever people want to really make progress, some have to sacrifice a lot. And I like to say, white America right now is spending $30 million a day in Asia. Black and white boys are dying unjustly for nothing just to free somebody else. So why should I worry about going to little old jail to free my poor people who's been catching hell here for 400 years? And it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to put a
Are you asking me for an answer to that?
It's kind of hard to put a black man or any black person in this country in jail, because if you ask the average one, we're already in jail. You know, we've been in jail for 400 years.
How does the subject changed so many times in that long sentence that I'm going to talk for a second now. That I really don't know how that connects with Howard Johnson's and everything, but it's a terrifically long harangue that you did. Do you feel bitter toward the entire white race? Do you think there's something about whiteness that is evil?
No, sir. No, sir. Whatever white people do as far as evil or as far as mistreatment, it's just the nature of the white race to be this way. If we check history,
do you think it might be human nature?
Yes, just human nature to kill. If white people,
human nature,
I watch television. If there's not a movie of white people shooting white people in shootouts and cowboy pictures, they shoot Indians. If they're not shooting Indians, they shoot Negroes. If they're not doing that, they're shooting reindeers or elephants or killing something. Just got to shoot. The system is built on war.
Now let me ask you this: do you think if it had happened the other way around for some reason in what's the word, evolution, if the genes and the pigments had happened to work some other way, and if the nation of Africa, if the continent of Africa had developed the kind of civilization that ours has, is it possible that what I'm trying to say is there something intrinsically? I know this is part of the Muslim point, I assume, the black Muslim point. That there's something intrinsically
I'm just talking about history.
aggressive about white nature that there isn't about black.
No religious point. What I'm telling you is in history books, in your own books about this. I have a book called 100 Years.
Oh, sure, I know all there's.
So I'm not bringing up religion or nothing. This is just a fact that the world knows, you know. But I would say that just the nature, from what I see of darker people, is peace. I say like the Japanese seem to be a peaceful people until somebody else came over. Dictating and trying to rule them. The Hawaiians, they'd be on the beach doing their little dance. The Indian was building his whatever teepee or whatever you call it. The African was somewhere doing his little dance. These people have never tried to go to other planets or enslave other people or take over countries.
Actually, that isn't true. If you took, for example. I don't want to get in an argument with you, but Taylor, for example,
right there with Muhammad Ali just said,
paradise that the white man.
Yeah.
But if you look into the history of when I'm an expert.
That's the point
about it, Captain Cook.
But this is the case. Fuck Dick Cavett. This is a case where you have a real American hero, Muhammad Ali. Right? Telling us, yeah, you're a bunch of fucking suckers. You're not progressing the white race over in Vietnam. I'm not progressing the black race over in Vietnam. Why the fuck would I go?
And I said this before.
Even if I go to jail, what the fuck does me going to jail have to do?
With Muhammad Ali,
nothing.
What Muhammad Ali said right then and there, white people are the only people trying on this planet, trying to go to other planets, trying to go to the moon, get into space. Why? Because you guys are not supposed to be here. You are not supposed to be here. Message.
We like to go to.
You don't
That's
see
why
no
we like
Africans trying to. You don't see anyone in Africa trying to start a space program except for Elon Musk. He's the only fucking African trying to go to fucking space. And guess what he is? He's white.
Yeah, remember when you asked me about raisins? Why we have the raisins? And I told you that because we can take them to like Africa and we can take them with us to eat.
Mm-hmm.
They don't perish, so we have shit we can go. All right, I'm going to invade Canada. I'm gonna take some raisins.
KB says, ask Jesse Ventura about Nam. He was a part of that
he has the
millionaires
same
jail.
He has the same opinion that Muhammad Ali and Donald Trump do. It's a stupid war. And the same thing that liberals were saying up until this election.
Exactly. And these are the same Democrats that were
liberals
calling
are off the fucking hook with this shit, man.
These are the same liberals that were fucking calling Vietnam vets baby killers, rapers, and all the rapists and shit. And fucking when they got back home, spitting on them. This is the same liberal ideology that spat on our vets when they got back. And these young men, they didn't choose the war. The military chose the war for them. The government chose the war for them.
Rabbit, I think, in my honest opinion, as a boxing fan, I think that people comparing Colin Kaepernick to Muhammad Ali should be lynched.
Yeah, they're nothing like as activists. No, hell no. Colin Kaepernick doesn't think.
Colin Kaepernick didn't get coached by a white coach from Michigan to the Super Bowl. He met a cop, a police officer, who's told it right. We know the story of Muhammad Ali. He met a police officer. I'm gonna whoop him. I'm gonna whoop him. Right, you know Muhammad Ali's voice and shit. Right? I'm gonna whoop him. Yeah. He took my bike, and the white cop said, "Well, you're not gonna whoop him if you can't fight. I got a boxing gym," and he trained him to be the greatest boxer, right, of our time. Well, not of our time, but of the last 50 years, right? Muhammad Ali's the greatest,
right.
And that's the like we have Floyd Mayweather potential. Muhammad Ali's the greatest. Muhammad Ali wasn't Colin Kaepernick. He wasn't taken off the bench and go, here's your shot, kid, like the fucking overnight quarterbacks. He was given a shot. He went to the Olympics and brought home a gold for this country, and then entered professional boxing, beat Sonny Liston. Phenomenal moments. Has this shit happen to him, returns to boxing, loses to Mayweather, loses to Joe Frazier, loses first to Frazier, then goes up against the greatest, George Foreman, Rumble in the Jungle, and wins. He wasn't gone. He was just a little rusty. Muhammad Ali was the fucking greatest. Yeah, he lost a couple. He came back and whooped everybody. Both those motherfuckers lost to Foreman. He won. Muhammad Ali's one of the greatest fuckers of all time. Muhammad Ali's performance in the ring is iconic in every fight. Colin Kaepernick never made an iconic performance in his life.
No, hell no. Hell no. They threw him up there because he's a part of that Marxist agenda to change the shape of our country.
You make a movie called Kaepernick, it's gonna fail. You make a movie called Ali, you're gonna have Will Smith emulating. It's gonna win Golden Globes. Kaepernick. Who's gonna fight? Who's gonna be George Hardbaugh?
Well, what's supposed to be happening is the USA was in Nam to defend South Vietnam, our allies against communist rule of the North and China. Right. It's exactly right. You know, and that's the reason why we went into Afghanistan and shit, to defend them from fucking communist ass Russia at the time and shit. You know, and now we need. Now our country is under threat of communism. We're under threat of communism. You know, with the Antifa and the Black Lives Matter movements out in the fucking streets, destroying businesses, not just, businesses white owned, they're destroying black owned businesses also with no clear regard or care. And they're killing people. They're out there killing motherfuckers. Savagely too.
But that's why I have to agree with you, Ray.
Right.
I wouldn't believe this shit. Because I'm like, you saying that Trump's talking shit about the veterans. That's all you fucking liberals do.
Yeah, that's all they do.
Facebook today.
Right,
I go, hey, I'm an Iraq war veteran. I'm an Iraq War veteran myself. I would be fuming mad if Trump was throwing shade at people I know that died in combat and stuff like that. So
They're
will you
trying to-
please link me a video where you actually said this shit so I can fucking believe you? And
The-
everybody come in there and talk about you fucking idiot, you fuck this, you fuck that. Not one thank you for my sacrifice. Not one thank you for me. Thank you for service. I've never been thanked by my service by a fucking liberal in my fucking entire life, you fucking bastards. So I don't believe a fucking word you say about this shit. I'm well within my right not to fucking believe you because I've never been thanked by a single fucking liberal for serving 13 months in Iraq to this fucking day. Like literally, fuck y'all. If you don't agree with the war in Iraq, I respect that shit because I don't agree with the war in Iraq. But you're going to tell me that the president is disrespecting our veterans, and yet I haven't received a fucking thank you from any one of you. All right? You only thank the fucking veterans that agree with you. You're all a bunch of shit-eating fucking cowards. Yeah, and two, yeah, liberals say way worse things about the veterans.
All right, so this is what I wanted to say before you went on your little hissy fit there, Taylor. So, what was I going to say? Oh yes, yeah. This is they're saying this because they want to take away the veteran vote from President Trump. They want to they don't want veterans voting for Trump.
We
Democrats and like I don't think I've ever heard of like veterans for Democrats or Democrats for veterans. I've never heard them ever talk about them in such high regard. You know, it's just ridiculous. It's terrible how they're fucking utilizing this information, which is the sentiment of a lot of folks here in the United fucking States, not just fucking Trump, but myself, Muhammad Ali, yourself. A lot of folks feel this way, that this was a stupid fucking war to fucking get into, and anybody who fucking went was a fucking sucker. Yeah, he was right. He was 100% correct on that. And you know, they trying to take this. They think this information is going to fucking scrub him, like they thought the information, the hot mic on him, grabbing him by the pussy was going to fucking work for him also. Was going to fucking stop him also. That didn't fucking stop him. Democrats, if that didn't fucking stop him, this bullshit definitely ain't gonna fucking stop him. And that's just, you know.
No, but that's how fucking, like, that's the first thing I call as a veteran. I go, have the liberals ever thanked me? Have the liberals ever said anything derogatory about war veterans, including myself? Yes. The only atheist I've ever met, he was a fucking staunch Trump supporter like you. And that's the only person that's ever said, oh, bullshit to the side, Taylor. You're a troll. You fuck with the atheists and stuff. But thank you for serving my country. I love this country with all my heart.
Yeah. And I thank you too all. I thank you too also. I thanked you before when I found out. You know,
I'm not the thank you for my service guy. I'm not a fucking.
I know you're not. Yeah.
I'm obviously a kid that right. I'll be honest. I'll be straight. I'm a kid that was leeching off of a fucking free job, and then right, National Guardsman. Oh shit! I'm getting deployed to Iraq for 13 months. And that's just right. That's the facts of fucking life. I signed up. I'm fucking eating for free and shit, right? I'm getting this fucking little bitch check every fucking week to go to fucking train with weapons and fucking artillery batteries. It's all cool and shit for the weekend.
Get the GI Joe for a little bit.
There's benefits and there's not, but yeah, no, I paid the piper. I signed up for that shit.
Shit, man.
That's what, you know what I'm saying. In Vietnam, you were given an ultimatum. You had to go when they called you on the job board, or you could go. You could be a fucking grow some nuts and some conviction like Ali and Ventura did and stuff like that. He went to war. He was in the Marines. No, he was in the SEALs. I don't know. I think Jesse Ventura said he served in the Philippines in the 80s or in the 70s or the 80s or some shit like that. Muhammad Ali gave up his gold, he gave up his belt, he gave up all that shit and said, fuck that war. Right? These war veterans didn't want it. They're like, no, they were given a rock and a hard, but you go to Vietnam and shit, right? One of the fucking worst wars we've ever experienced. You go to jail, 3 hots and a cot. You don't get, right? You walk around in the mud and the rain and shit. Like my uncle came back from Vietnam all fucked up. That's why I used to say, man, like when I got back, right? I talked to my uncle. I'm like, dude, you're like a bitch, man. Was it really
Why?
that bad? Yeah.
Oh, it wasn't that bad for you. It wasn't as bad for it wasn't as bad for you as it was for him.
Well, the roads were, yeah. There's fucking roads and shit. Everyone's suspicious of the roads, but like, yeah, I guess in Vietnam and shit, they're on patrol. But we had a fucking whole country and shit, a whole population to control. These motherfuckers are on patrols, patrolling a base, right?
Yeah, you
There's
got to think
ambushes.
about
It's
the
different
time that
warfare.
he went. Yeah, it's different. Yeah, it was definitely different type of warfare. I mean, these motherfuckers was jumping off the goddamn ground like fucking trap spiders and shit. So like,
Yeah, see, like World War II is probably the worst that we've ever been in because that was like a war with against another army and shit. Like Vietnam was, but it wasn't. Like they weren't. They were just patrolling mostly and shit, air bombing and patrol.
oh yeah, KB, we addressed yeah, we watched a few of them videos. There's also that drone footage that's out there where you can see and even in the initial the first video, you can see a muzzle flash coming from a handgun where Rosenbaum was fucking killed. Somebody was popping shots off at Kyle. And yeah, definitely. Kyle Rittenhouse is a motherfucking hero in my book. Does he beat on girls? Yeah. Oh yeah, speaking of which, I didn't get a chance to talk about that, Taylor, in my last video in the State of the Ray Bay. And
Like I'll
I
beat the
kind of,
girl.
yeah, where he was he was wailing on her. It was so adorable. I was just like, oh, there goes my hero. Watch him as he goes. He was getting them Johns in, had on his little fucking American flag flippers and shit. Fucking loved it. I was just like, man, I almost lost my fucking mind. And then I heard he got his ass whipped and shit. And I'm like, yeah, you kind of deserve that ass woman. You don't want to be hitting on no fucking girls when some niggas is around. The motherfuckers that was recording it, they I heard they beat him up. They whipped his ass. Did you hear any more about that, Taylor?
What, the Kyle thing? Yeah, I saw footage, the video, which is allegedly Kyle, and then there's a
Yeah,
screenshot floating around of when he's on the ground with one shoe off, and the
yeah.
guy's the dude like an Air Force One stomping him on the back. And that's I don't have a problem with that. I would have done the
I don't
same
have a
thing if
problem.
I
Yeah,
was there.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
I
would
ain't
have done
mad
the
that
same
they
thing.
whipped Kyle ass for that shit. Cause like, I mean, this is
But that's how we know. That's how we
this
know
is
the
before
liberals.
it becomes a hero.
Who's
Like, you
calling?
know,
Are we calling? Are we up here calling for those guys that stomped on the kid as assault? Those fucking assault batterers. Nobody would call for them to go to jail. I wouldn't call.
yeah.
They would go to jail if that was shown in court. They would ask where the source was or dismiss it. It wouldn't be admissible unless they knew where it came from. In that case, it would implicate those two gentlemen in a crime.
Well, everybody in that,
I would agree with them. I would have stomped the shit out of Kyle if he was punching that girl. If I was sitting in the car with them, I would be like, we're gonna jump that little fucking
yeah,
bitch.
I would have clotheslined him also. I would have clotheslined him. And then
What if that was my daughter?
when I see him bust a cap in like three niggas' asses and shit later on down the road, then I'd be like, damn, I just clotheslined the shit out of that kid. He's a motherfucking hero in my book. God damn, G.I. motherfucking Joe. Man. I'm not talking about the drone video. Read my last text slowly.
No, but
Yeah, I was just, I read your message. I said we seen the drone footage also. No,
the thought process of a lib,
I
right?
didn't say that you were talking about the drone.
They
I
got a
didn't say you were talking about
candlelight.
the drone video.
They got a
I just said we
candlelight
also
visual for Pedo Joe.
for who?
Yeah, they got a candlelight visual for Pedo Joe, the child molester.
Oh, is that his name?
Kyle
Joseph.
Shaw.
I was calling him Jason and shit.
Pedo
Yeah.
Joe.
Well, I mean, come on.
Three
Yeah.
little boys, ages 9, 10, like 9 through 11. It says the report says on 3 different incidents he molested 3 children.
I feel like it's not relevant to his death. It's not relevant to his death, but it does make his death that much bittersweet. It makes it bittersweet.
Yeah, it gives the justification to like I said, the justification for those dudes stomping the shit out of Kyle, if that is him punching the girl and shit. With all those, right? They're out. The girls outnumbered. There's hell of them. They outnumbered.
The kid Dominic.
I would have stomped Kyle for that.
That's the person he called after he shot Rosenbaum.
Who?
The kid Dominic, the guy in the white Nike shirt. That's the person he called after he shot Rosenbaum.
Well, that's justified. It was justified. What those dudes did, they got out the car, they beat Kyle's ass.
Yeah.
The girl's getting attacked by a mob.
Right. And at this point, everybody's just strangers. Kyle isn't exactly isn't a hero, you know.
But that logic, see, I apply that logic to the same situation with Kyle. The same I have with the gentleman or something. They defending that girl.
KB. KB, yeah, we seen that. We seen all that, and in our previous one of our previous videos, I believe the first one we did, Taylor, where we talked about the situation with Kyle, and they were chasing him, and he shot the second two guys, fucking Huber and fucking dickhead ass Growth Troops. that fucking dickhead.
I've seen how the Kyle footage works, and I know how the legal system works. It doesn't work according to these dipshit liberals back and forth. They're contradictory minds.
Fucking Huber fucking throws I think he throws his skateboard at him, and I think Kyle that's what Kyle trips on, and then he runs, grabs his skateboard after the one homie hit him in the back of his head, tried to hit him in the back of his head, missed like a little bitch he was. And then Huber decided, you know what? That wasn't a bitch enough move. I can do one better, and tries to attack Kyle while he's down with the fucking skateboard, because he is a bitch. He's a bitch. And now we got two dead. We got a dead pedo, a dead bitch who likes to beat on his women, and fucking
a guy with a gun. No brainer.
Yeah, and here's my other theory is that Grosskreutz was the other shooter at the first site. He shot at Kyle. He got to shoot at him.
In order for the liberals to be right about Kyle committing a murder, they have to be right that he is the first murderer.
Oh yeah, KB. Hell yeah, I seen all that. I make sure I watch everything. Before I make a judgment. Hell yeah, that young bull acted in self-defense.
It's not.
They were chasing him from the rip.
It's not up to us whether he murdered or not. It's up to the courts. But
he didn't murder anybody. In my mind, he didn't murder anybody. He defended himself.
Well, yeah, in my mind too. But it's up to us to give the consistent.
I just think it's amazing how the left is out here and calling him a racist terrorist and all this other fucking shit. I'm like, yo, he didn't go out. He didn't beset upon the world to fucking go shoot people. If he wanted to do that, then we would be seeing more bodies in the fucking street out there in Kenosha, Wisconsin. Then they would be calling him a mass shooter in the news. You know what I'm saying?
With me. What do you think the left do? It's like the left said, I'm fucking dumb. I'm fucking redneck Republican Trump supporter. I'm fucking war vet. Right. Get them right. Go too dumb to join the school and shit. Too ignorant to get a real job. Go out there drinking Budweisers out there in the desert, right? And then Trump say, like the Vietnam War, and all of a sudden they're murdering me. I'm the new black guy now, baby. My veteran status needs to be. They need justice for my veteran status. They're out here to protect me while calling me an idiot on Facebook. I became the new black guy.
Lives matter, BLM. That lives matter. That's terrible. Yeah, but you know we got to get out there in the street. You better get out there.
Buy this shit.
You better start yourself a movement where you can make $1 billion and do nothing to it to help veteran affairs.
They kiss the ass of anarchists, man. They're not gonna kiss the ass of black people like Candace Owens or the conservative twins or Herschel. What's his name?
Herschel.
They're not gonna hold. They're not.
Oh, Herschel Walker's son.
They're defending me now. Veteran life matter, right? It's me now. Now they're protecting me. They're outraged.
Walker.
Me. Even though they're outraged by me, they're still talking shit. Today I made a post. I'm like, I'd be concerned if this really happened. Can anyone prove this? And they talk shit about me. They say you're a valor thief. You haven't even been. You all this shit. Oh, you're dumb enough to go to war. This, that. Immediately, they're quick to contradict themselves and show their true nature. I'm just saying, you have to be a fucking idiot.
Someone called you a valor thief?
Let alone this. That Trump. This never came out about Trump. The whole impeachment trial. The 4-year-long slander campaign against Trump. This never came out once.
Right.
They left this in the back.
Like I said, with
the ace in the deck in the back. They hide the ace.
They did the same thing with Brett Kavanaugh. You know, Shorty wasn't worrying about this dude being a pedophile, being a rapist, raping her back in college until he had a grand opportunity to become a motherfucking Supreme Court justice. As soon as he gets that opportunity, they want to have all kinds of hearings in the world, broadcasted to the world. Yeah. we're about to have a rapist up here, but we want to make sure he's not the rapist he is, or he is a rapist. They immediately charged this man as being guilty. This whole entire hashtag Me Too movement. All these whiny bitches came out of the closet and shit. Yeah, he did it. He did it. I don't have the evidence for it, but you know what? I know he did it. I know he did it because he's a man. And she said he did it. And that's what they do, man. Oh, yeah. 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 I saw that today also. Yeah, you ain't the only one, KB. The cop shot and killed the, what's his face? Michael Forrest, Reinhold. Yeah, they got his ass. They got him. They got him. They got that pussy. He's a pussy. And I watched the video of him shooting that guy, and I just like, wow. He murdered that man. He set out to shoot someone. See, that's the difference between him and Kyle fucking Rittenhouse. That's the difference between Rhino and
only a
fucking
liberal logic.
Rittenhouse.
And liberal logic, right? Only in liberal logic, with all the conclusions already assumed. We have to assume Kyle's a murderer, right? Assume he's a murderer. Assume that he's crossing state lines with a weapon, which he didn't do. But we have to assume that's true, even though that's proven false. But let's assume it's true anyway. All right, so now he's committing a felony. He's going to the protest because he's a murderer, because he's assuming, right? Remember, we have to assume their conclusions. We have to assume he's a murderer first. We have to assume he's carrying a weapon across state lines, whether or not it's been proven false. Then we have to assume that he's doing that for the purpose of shooting 3 people, determined, premeditated, a pedophile, a fucking another guy, a fucking, right, another felon, and then a guy that's going to pull a gun out on him later.
They were all felons.
So he's premeditated the whole thing to happen in the events, the mastermind, criminal mastermind.
He teamed up with him. He's like, hey, I'm going to shoot you guys. Just come after me and attack me.
Not only that, we have to be liberals too. We have to pre-conclude that every stupid thing that comes out of our mouths, you're actually going to fucking believe.
Yeah. And my thing is, it's just highly weird. A lot of folks are looking at this kid being racist because he's white. And like racism does not just apply to white folks, ladies and gentlemen. Racism applies to everybody. You can be a motherfucking Indian. You can be racist. I ain't talking about the Native American variety, because they can be racist too. You can be black like me, and part fucking white, and part fucking Native American, and you could be racist. You know, you can be racist against fucking Chinese people. You know, did you guys know that Chinese people can be fucking racist, and they are the most racist people on this motherfucking planet, especially towards black people. They are very fucking racist. I've never seen
shows, my friend.
When white people, here's the other thing that does creep me out is when white Americans gotta go about and be like, oh, I'm not a racist. I'm not a racist. No, just respect me. Just show me motherfucking respect. I show you respect back. That's how I was raised. I wasn't raised to go, have a fucking card out explaining why I'm not a fucking racist. I wasn't raised that way. And I don't want white people to be doing that shit to me either. Like, I told my homie Paul, you try and do that to me, and I was like, man, you ain't gotta do all that. That's just crazy. Like, I know you're not a fucking racist. I don't see you wearing a fucking Klan robe. I don't see you hanging anyone from fucking trees. You don't go around fucking calling us nigger. You niggers better get back to work. You don't do any of that dumb shit. So yeah, you're not racist, motherfucker.
You frozen is racist.
Hillary. Said I froze. Taylor? You still there? Oh, there you go. Oh, I thought you said I froze.
I
froze?
The Democrats made this shit up again.
Yeah.
There only is one stupid enough to believe it. All right. They've convinced everyone that's not decided that they are fucking idiots. They're only convincing themselves, which is sad. They're convincing themselves their own lies are true. That's the requirement to be a Democrat. So let's get someone like that, except an older, more senile version of someone like that, to be president. How is that going to end? Because with Trump, we have someone who's entertaining, who does daily press conferences, says a bunch of stupid things. At least Trump's a form of entertainment. He keeps the liberals entertained. He keeps his constituents entertained. He gives them this idea that this New York billionaire somehow represents my interests and all the other working class white Americans. And even he even takes credit for black people getting jobs and shit.
Hell yeah.
People believe that shit. That's let them do that. The liberals out here believe that he did something wrong, and they just don't know what. But it incites hatred among their hearts that we need to have a liberal president so we can have our free health care, we can have our wealth. This is the hardest thing. I talked to Jermaine about this earlier, Jermaine Court.
Yeah.
If you guys, evangelicals aren't voting for Christianity when they put someone like Trump in the White House. All right. But liberals aren't really democratic, socialist, progressives and shit. And they continuously vote for these elite millionaires. They put Bernie. Bernie's not an elite millionaire. Bernie's concedes the election. We have to endorse the establishment again, second time.
Mm-hmm.
And they
Yeah,
still
Bernie's
vote.
a
They
bitch.
still vote for elitist millionaires, right? Thinking that these
Right.
elitist millionaires represent socialism. All of those motherfuckers are filthy fucking rich. The Obamas, Pelosi and her husband, Dianne Feinstein, all of these people are filthy fucking rich. Right? That's why AOC makes it a point to keep telling you that she worked in a taco shop. Because she wants to stick out among the fucking filthy rich people.
She was I was a bartender.
A bartender, exactly right. Because she's filthy fucking rich.
This is what progress looks like. But she went to college.
Fucking rich. Biden.
Didn't she go to Harvard? What college did AOC go to? Didn't she go to Ivy League, John? Ivy League
Boston.
school?
I think Boston.
Boston?
University of Boston, yeah. You see the video where she's dancing in the miniskirt and shit?
Yeah, she's sexy in that, John.
Yeah.
I'll drink her bath water. Maybe not a toilet water.
But unfortunately for AOC, AOC's
trouble.
AOC's there. She's socialist iconography. So this is what the Democrats, and this is the main squeeze on politics. Donald Trump is a representation of alt-right politics. And not only that, it's a new, because Donald Trump didn't have the endorsement of his fucking old fucking sleaze bags and shit. He did it by himself. He's the first I did myself president.
Yeah.
And it's convenient because he is a fucking me kind of guy.
And he's a narcissist, Yeah, I mean, shit. What better to have? I'd rather have a narcissist as a president, than somebody who tells me what they think I want to fucking hear. I'd rather have somebody who gives a shit about the American people than somebody who talks to me because I'm black. Wants my vote because I'm black, and that my vote would be valuable to their party. No, President Trump, he doesn't talk to people like that. He doesn't put people in levels and bases and shit. I like what he had to say during the campaign trail about what's going on in the black community, about our schools, about our jobs and shit, about our neighborhoods. He's like, they're the worst, and they need better. They deserve better. I mean, you don't hear any of these fucking nutty ass Democrats saying these type of things and shit. They weren't saying that during the 2016 campaign trail. They were out there fucking just pandering. Hillary with her little, I carry hot sauce in my purse. Bitch, put that bitch, then keep that shit the fuck in there. Keep that shit to your fucking self. I like for them to keep their pandering to themselves because they don't do shit when they get the fuck up in there. President Trump got the fuck in the White House. He fucking got prison reform through. He giving money to the HBCUs, black people, Asians, fucking Latinos, Hispanics. I don't like to call them Latinos. Hispanics. They fucking getting fucking jobs. We getting jobs left and fucking right, Taylor. We got fucking jobs, my nigga. I can feel proud. Everywhere I fucking go and apply for an application, I get the fucking job.
Thanks to Trump.
And it wasn't no affirmative action either. I just get the fucking job. I get it. They're like, oh, Anthony, you're great.
Have jobs. Yeah,
perfect.
Because rich, wealthy billionaires feel comfortable with Trump. They don't feel comfortable with liberals funneling money and shit. We already know. We already know the play. Liberals take money from the government. Gavin Newsom right now. he lied about it. We had a $20 million deficit, and he lied about that. And that's why they're all, the liberals aren't right. Nancy Pelosi's getting her hair did, causing a distraction from what's really going on. She's stopping Trump. They're trying to block Trump from sending the extension on unemployment, because California don't have money for unemployment. We don't even have money to fight fires right now. They spent it all. Those dumb, stupid motherfucking liberals. They spent it all putting homeless people in shelters and registering them to vote, getting immigrants in here and registering them to vote.
Did they put the homeless people in shelters out there?
They reinvested the money that hardworking Americans like myself, like other people in California, pay for roads and all that shit to fund people as potential votes to keep the crooks in power.
Wow.
That's what happened. It's not a question of if. It happened. It's a fact that we have a $20 million deficit. Newsom says the feds are going to come pay for it, even though Trump's saying,
already know he's not going to win California. California is just one fucking state. You know, they got to win. Like, what Biden has to do is he has to win the entire Midwest to even stand a chance against President Trump. I mean, I watched the last election, and Hillary Clinton, when I seen all the Midwest going up red, Arizona and all that shit was going red, and I see my home state of Pennsylvania go fucking red, I was like, ooh, oh,
California,
Hillary, baby, what you do? What you do, girl? What you do to piss off the motherfucking Pennsylvanians? You got to do a whole fucking lot to piss off Pennsylvania.
We got Fed funds. We need the Fed funds, and Trump's not going to handle them. They go to Congress. Trump signed an executive order, no Fed funds to states that sponsor this nonsense.
KB, that's why we need term limits. That's why we need term limits on these motherfuckers and shit, especially right there on the fucking hill. How does a 47-year-old unmarried woman, DC politician, mayor end up with $300 million? I googled it, but it don't say how she earned that much. Yeah, and what's the immigrant representative Ilhan Omar from fucking Somalia? She came from fucking Somalia, and she's a fucking millionaire. She's worth a lot of money. She giving her husband money. You know what? I was born in this motherfucking country. I was born and raised in motherfucking foster care. Where's my motherfucking money at? Where's my fucking money? This bitch come to my country from fucking Africa and shit. One of them goddamn shithole countries in Africa, and she's stealing my fucking money. She's stealing my money. How does she get to be richer than my black ass? I was born here.
I'm telling you, baby, they're taking money. The liberals are stealing money. They're embezzling money. But they're investing in, right, with the money that they could be buying roads and firefighters to get us out of, right, our shithole here in California. They're taking homeless people off the street. They're paying $300 a month to EBT to keep black people in certain communities. Affordable housing. We'll build another fucking ghetto and shit where you guys could shoot each other, and we'll give you $300 a month, right? And then, meanwhile, you can't afford to go nowhere the fuck else because the tax is so high, right? You're going to be at West Oakland right now. You can't walk down to Whole Foods and spend $30 on a fucking sandwich there.
Damn, $30 for a motherfucking sandwich?
Exactly. What are you going to do with your $300 in EBT?
Motherfucking America. What time is it?
You're going to have to work there. That's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to fucking work there.
That's fucking crazy. That's fucking crazy. I'm sitting there like,
Whole Foods. That's why they fucking built it.
Fucking mind. $30 for a fucking sandwich. I will never spend $30 for a sandwich. Why is shit so goddamn expensive in California?
This is when I left Oakland, right? That's exactly why I left Oakland. This is why I sympathize with some of the shit that these fucking liberals are talking about. It's just I don't fucking believe them when they speak. Because I know for a fucking fact those people built the Whole Foods in West Oakland so the fucking black people in the project come fucking work there. They're not going to fucking shop there. $300 a month in groceries on EBT. Right. They're going to fucking work there for a bunch of snobby white people.
Yeah, that's exactly why they built that shit there. That's how gentrification works, man. They do that in Philly. They did that in Philadelphia with Temple University.
That's what opportunity looks like for white liberals. They build a fucking Whole Foods and a Cold Stones and a Starbucks and a fucking hood so you can come work there while they gentrify the rest of the fucking neighborhood and have the working class cordoned off in the projects.
Where Temple University is at, right there on Cecil B. Moore, down the street from the Leah Corps Center. that area over there used to be just nothing but black people. The university was always there, but it was nothing but black people up in that fucking neighborhood. Nothing but black people. And then recently, I don't know, like some fucking scumfuck 10 years, 7 years ago, all of a sudden they're changing things up. They're building a fucking movie theater down there. They got a fucking fresh grocer and shit. Stores you find in, like, you know, the suburbs where white people live. And all of a sudden, you got all these fucking white kids moving up in the fucking block. Temple, well, come to find out, Temple went and bought blocks and blocks, bought people's houses and shit to kick out the black people in the neighborhood so they can bring in these other fucking kids, these softy ass fucking pansy ass white kids. And I don't mean to say that, you know, and black kids too, these soft ass kids from the fucking suburbs to live in the fucking urban area. You know, and I have no issue with college students living in this urban area. I don't have any issue with Temple doing that. But it's like y'all displace the people who are already living there, and in some respects, forcing them to move elsewhere and shit. And you don't even give them enough fucking money to do that. Talking about eminent domain and all this other jazz. It's fucking ridiculous. Fucking nut ass fresh grocer. Nobody, no. When I walked in that fresh grocer, I ain't see no black people up in that bitch. I seen a whole bunch of college honeys up in that joint. I was like, hey Becky, you know, but shit. Aside from that, I fucking hate gentrification. I don't think it should be. You know, white people want to fucking build up a neighborhood, one of these black neighborhoods, build it up and let the niggas stay. Let the Negroes stay in their fucking neighborhood. Stop fucking shafting them every time they vote for you and shit.
That's what
stick you in the fucking office.
That's what opportunity looks like to liberals in San Francisco, Seattle, and Portland and shit. They go, ooh, I know what we can do for the black people. Let's have them fucking serve us at fucking Chevys. Let's have that because they're just selling drugs and stuff. We can step them up and we'll get them a job at Chevys. They can be our waiters, and they can keep their project high rises. They make this scene look so nice. We can eat our little fucking Chevy's burrito and look up at the projects, and we'll make sure to build a big gate around it. Build a big gate around it so nobody else can get in.
Yeah, they just so they can swing around their fucking white privilege and shit and whatnot.
Look at these fucking
shit. Be like,
fucking liberals.
Black lives enjoying life. You can have this too.
You guys are killing all our POCs. So who's gonna bring me my latte?
I was watching Jesse Lee Peterson earlier and shit, and he was talking to this fucking white liberal, and he asked him, he's like, so do you? Oh yeah, so the liberal was like, he was saying some shit along the lines of, Jesse Lee Peterson was saying that, you know, what's missing in the black community is the family structure, a father, a mother, and you know, a family. And that's what's missing because you got a lot of single mothers in the black community. My sister's a single mother. You know, she's got 7 fucking kids. Single mother, and it's the mentality that these women are taught that they don't need a man, that they have to rely on welfare and shit. So he asked them what kind of setting did he grow up in. He was like, well, an upper middle class family, this and that, And he was like, oh, you don't think black people deserve that? He's like, oh, of course they do. Of course they do. Then why don't you help them? Why don't you teach them that? Why don't you tell them that they can do that? Because that's what I'm telling them, and you're trying to tell me that a black conservative telling black people to do that is wrong. And that's crazy because that's what we need in the black community. We need structure. We need stability. I ain't have my fucking father coming up. I met him when I was 34 years old, and this is a crying goddamn shame. What I should have been doing, I wish I had my father. I told you before, Taylor. I told you about the situation with the Pokemon game and shit. Little fucking Jewish fuckers took my fucking Pokemon game, and I'm real fucking destroyed right now about that. I ain't that fucking destroyed.
If you look at the black community and you look at, let's say, like
if I had my father, hold on. If I had my father, I would have been, I'd be much better off. Shit, I'd probably be doing this shit right now, and I'd probably be the fuck off a long fucking time ago.
Why is the Mexicans moving into the suburbs and the black people still, right? Maybe like one.
That's because we got retarded out of fucking the crack epidemic, the crack crisis, the crack era. The crack era did this.
They're not talking about.
Niggas was out there
talking about that shit. They ain't talking about integrating. Well, why aren't the black people have opportunities to
Fucking
move into
smoking
the
crack and shit and ruining their children's
Why they
lives. That's
gotta
what they
stay in
did.
the ghetto? Why are we trying
Drinking
to?
their fucking old English and 211s and their fucking what do they call that? Thunderbird.
Why are we trying to make the black people more comfortable in the ghetto instead of trying to get the black people out of the ghetto into the mainstream community?
That's for black people up. That's something that black people have to do. They can move. They don't have to live in the ghetto. They can move.
When liberals tell them,
I agree with you there. Why are
liberals
we making them
laying
more
on Malcolm
comfortable?
X. Let's spice up the ghetto. Let's fucking build Whole Foods and Disneyland there. Let's do
Hey, I'm
all
telling
that
you right
shit.
now. Hey Taylor, this John pop off and shit. That's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go right back to the fucking hood. I'm gonna be right up there in fucking motherfucking Philly and shit, riding in my car with a loudspeaker. I'm like, hey, Negroes,
Let's go get jobs in the white neighborhood.
let's move to the fucking suburbs.
Yeah,
move to the fucking suburbs. These white people want your homes. Let them have it. We can move to the suburbs. Get off your ass and stop selling them fucking drugs. Stop smoking that goddamn weed. Get a job. Save some money. Get your fucking credit up. That's what I'm doing now. I'm getting my motherfucking credit up. I'm trying to get good credit.
Yeah, because that's the real facts. The liberals they don't want you to know is that if all these black people start commuting into the white part of the city and getting jobs there, the police isn't gonna have time to stop all of them because then the white people start going crazy and shit. They're like, God, the black folks are getting pulled over so we can go out and commit armed robberies and shit now.
Yeah, and they can do that right there in them ghettos. White people.
The police are distracted by the black community. You see the black rush hour. Everyone's boom, 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 right on the freeway. All the blacks at rush hour and shit going back to the hood, right in traffic, and the police there making stops and shit, while the white people down there menacing the community in their own community. That ain't gonna happen.
I don't know. White people might become the next menace. They might become the
next. You see, liberalism isn't based on logic. It's based on. They're still the slave owners they were 100 years ago.
The ghetto.
Their future. They're electronic cotton plantation owners.
Look, in my version of a perfect world, perfect universe, dimension, white people are ghetto. White people, the white people are ghetto, and the black people are affluent.
White people commit more crimes in the United States than black people do.
In my imagination, at least.
See, but for when white people commit crime in their neighborhoods, there's not as many indigent whites in a white neighborhood as there are affluent whites. Where in the ghetto, it's the exact opposite. There aren't that many affluent African Americans in the hood as there is indigenous. Right, it's the reverse. There's white criminals, like career criminals and shit, and they grow up in a white neighborhood. They're career criminals, but the police know who they are. They know where they live.
Yeah,
it's the exact opposite. In the hood, it's the exact opposite. The affluent members of the community, the police know them. They don't know all the little menaces and shit. They know of some of them, but they don't know everybody because they're up and coming every day.
Right.
So that's the reverse effect.
But black people gotta, they gotta make that choice to get the fuck up. Here's the thing.
Dems keep putting you in that bubble. They keep putting
us in that bubble.
You're different. You're that different. The police are so mean to you.
Yeah,
we've forgotten you. We need to give you EBT to your community, and they keep stapling that you need to be living over there when you don't.
And that's one of the things I like to try to strive with black people is to try to tell them, hey, we're not a community. We are individuals. You don't have to live in that community because there's other black people there. You can move. You can move to fucking Iceland if you wanted to. You can move to China. Now, don't move to China though, because they're fucking racist over there. You can move to Russia if you wanted. I bet you find far less racist people in fucking Russia than you would in motherfucking China. China, don't go to China. I always stress to black people, do not move. Even Africans, don't go to fucking China. China is the most racist fucking country in this goddamn fucking planet. It is the worst place to fucking live. It is terrible. They gave us a fucking terrible pandemic. They didn't fucking do a damn thing about it to stop it from reaching shores and shit. They didn't fucking shut down borders or any of that. Their fucking government is the fucking worst. And when they have black people living out in the fucking streets like fucking homeless bums and shit, man, fuck China. Fuck China can go fuck itself. They have their stores in black neighborhoods and they give nothing back to these motherfucking neighborhoods. Fuck China. Fuck China. Chinese people, that's a different story. I'm not racist against Chinese people. I am racist against China, and I'm racist against their ideology and their economic streets to fucking
What the fuck is
undermine
going
the
on
black
China?
community, black people here in this country. You know, they're fucking terrible.
No, but Spike Lee made a movie called Sucker Free City. You seen it?
No, I didn't see that shit.
Now it's kind of bullshit, but I grew up with that shit. I know that firsthand. That's what's going on in the city. That's gentrification. They took the mission. As a white kid grows up in the mission, and they get right. The community is being gentrified. The mission district is being isolated. That was the Hispanic American community of the city, and it's being gentrified because it's on Market Street. Right, Market Street is affluent. Right, there are more businesses. Right, Whole Foods and CVS pharmacy and all this shit's coming out. So they're getting gentrified out. The Hispanic community has decreased, just like the black community in Oakland.
Yeah.
Right. This happened to me when I was a kid. Coal Valley, my parents couldn't afford to get a place in the city, so we had to move to Oakland. So I was a white kid moving to a fucking black neighborhood when I was a kid, and that was right. That it was an experience, but I was young enough to where it was cool. Like if I was a teenager, I don't know how that would have worked out. But I was young when it happened. So
You'd have been like, damn.
Yeah, if I was a teenager, I would have been like, fuck this fucking place, right? You know what I'm saying? But
I know how you would have felt, man.
Yeah,
Shit,
when you're a little kid, right?
Yeah.
Meeting like your friend's a black 8-year-old, right? It's different than meeting a black 17, 16-year-old.
Right.
Having all black friends and shit, and having to get used to that. It's a totally different ball game and shit, right? I used to go to my friend's house to play NES. He was the only one that had a Nintendo.
Mm.
He's black, and I was white. I'm the white kid and shit that goes to my friend. I used to think this black kid was rich. Right? That's why when Joe Biden said, yeah, in North Oakland.
I'm dead.
That's how I have a different outlook on life than a lot of people.
He had a father too, didn't he?
Yeah, they had a 2-bedroom apartment, but I thought they were fucking rich. We had a 2-bedroom apartment, but I thought he was fucking rich because his parents bought him a Nintendo.
Yeah, he had a father He had a father. Of course, they're gonna have a Nintendo. When you have a 2-parent home, you're gonna have these little things, these little video game systems and shit. Where the fuck is my damn cigarettes at? On my side.
No, but that's how I grew. I grew up in North Oakland, and my friend Nathaniel had a Nintendo, and I thought his parents were rich, and he was a black kid, and I was a white kid, and I was one of the only white kids. There's like 4 other white kids in the neighborhood. So that was right growing up and shit, hearing all this shit. I realized, yeah, there's white people up in the hills and shit, and they don't really want to hang out. Like I go to I would go to white people parties and shit. They would be sketchy. Like my friend Damien D. They wanted weed, right? I was up at a party with this white dude in the hills and shit, and I said like, yeah. They're like, hey, can you get us a sack? And I said, yeah, let me call my friend D. And I saw the look on their little fucking pale, bleached fucking faces, like, why is his name just a letter? That's hella sketch. Just a sketch.
Oh, dude.
There's a fucking black kid there too, Anthony. He's got glasses. He's fucking big kid, 6'5", fucking heavy set with glasses. Whitest motherfucker you'll ever answer. Oh no, not D. Is that D? I'm talking about. Does he live over on Keller? He knows this fucker D'Angelo. He's like a pimp, and he thinks I'm talking about D'Angelo. And I'm like, no, it's D, my friend from the north. And these white people are like, no, we're not bringing someone up here from your neighborhood. No. Right, they'd be scared, and they have a right. There's black people live in the hills. They're just being raised in the hill different than being raised in the inner city or the north or the east or especially the west. Like if I said this is my buddy L he grew up in the west in the bottoms, they're not gonna fuck with. They're gonna immediately think that he's like a savage killer and shit with a 9 and
thug life and shit.
Yeah,
like a hardcore gangster.
Well, yeah, I grew up in Oakland's a very diverse city because there's people from San Francisco that get gentrified out. They go to Oakland and then they go throughout the Bay. But back to the point, we're talking about Sucker Free City. It's a movie just about this. It's a white kid who grows up in the Mission, and his parents get gentrified out. They can't afford to live in the Mission no more because it's being gentrified. And his dad's like some fucking gay artist. He's got the wrong type of parents, but he gets moved to Hunters Point, which doesn't happen because that's subsidized housing. The black people there are grandfathered in, just like in the film one.
I heard about this film though.
Huh?
I heard about it though, but yeah.
Yeah, so the white kid moves to the black neighborhood and they beat his ass and shit and then steal his laptop, and he happens to eventually befriend one of the fellow gang members and shit. And this one dude like slaps his sister or catches his sister walking and he stabbed, right? The white kid stabs him, but then like he's like a higher up in the gang, and then the black dude comes in the bathroom, and he looks and he's like, shit. And then the black dude helps him. He stabs him in the throat and shit, and then fucking hides the shank, and he helps him. There's animosity in the movie, but that's really happening in San Francisco. And Spike Lee makes a movie about it. And Gavin Newsom, Mr. Black Lives Matter governor here, was the mayor at the time. And what did he do? He moved the Section 8 from Hunters Point out to fucking Antioch near Stockton. That's like that place is one of the worst cities in the right. It's like Oakland. It's one of the worst cities. That's what you move everyone's Section 8 over there to already Section 8 neighborhoods. So you're mixing black people from the city with black people from the valley and the East Bay and shit. So of course the crime level there explodes. San Francisco gets less and less black by the day till we're down to like 2%. We had a black mayor in San Francisco when I was born.
Hey, KB, what race are you?
What of these fucking
what ethnicity are you? I should
don't
say.
do shit for the fucking African.
Because we're all the human race.
Here.
Well,
We've had
except for Taylor's white ass.
We've had liberals here in California, in Oakland, and San Francisco, in the Bay Area.
Y'all have liberals everywhere in California.
Right.
You know, I grew up blue since like what, the 1950s.
That's what I used to think when I grew up in Oakland, from 90, right? The last year, okay, that's almost 10 years. That's almost 20 years. I was at Oakland. Oakland's African American population went from like 26% down to 12%, and it's getting lower and lower and lower and lower and lower. That's why they're moving here, right? Here it's still about 26, and that's going to eventually dwindle. This corona might have saved the day for the black population here. You guys are getting forced out, and that's what the liberals do. They force you the fuck out to go live in another black community. This is a better place for you guys. It's a new scenery. But in reality, you're meeting up with fuckers from different hoods and shit, and that causes trouble. Right? There's mentalities and shit, right? Somebody from the East doesn't necessarily get along with somebody from the West unless they're out at Disneyland together, but not in Oakland. Growing up in Oakland, that's a different ball game.
Y'all wild out there in California and shit. Y'all reckless. Sorry, I'm just kidding. We ain't that great in Philly.
This is what the liberals been doing years and years and years and years and years. They're gonna tell you Black Lives Matter. Like, did they matter to you when you built the Whole Foods in West Oakland? When you gentrified the fuck out of the property values and shit? Where they all sold? The lucky ones, like the old people and shit, they've been living it sold and then started renting to white people.
Right.
And then, yeah, exactly. So they were forced to either live in the projects or seek, right, the housing crisis. So they have to go out to Antioch with, right, and you creating all these tensions because there's already poor people. They don't send you to like from San Francisco to like Mill Valley, California, or somewhere like Rancho Cordova. They don't send you to white neighborhoods. They send you to fucking piss poor valley neighborhoods where there's already Mexican gangs and white boy gangs and shit like that. Pecker Woods.
Yeah.
And then it causes trouble.
The next time I get a chance, if I'm ever so lucky to fill out a census, and then in 2030, if I feel like filling it out, I'm gonna put down, instead of putting down black, I'm gonna put down negus. I no longer identify as a black man.
That's why I lost respect for Spike Lee. Spike Lee made that movie. That's a real movie. I grew up that way. My parents were gentrified to Oakland. I sold my house in Oakland.
You lost your respect for Spike Lee because of a movie, though?
I made money off of it. I don't give a flying fuck. Fuck y'all. I made money on my house because of gentrification. And that's right. Someone was dumb enough to buy my house, right, in the 90s for $500,000 when I paid fucking a fourth of that when it was fucking the hood. But that Spike Lee makes that movie, and Gavin Newsom doesn't look at that movie and go, "Yeah, we're doing this." Doesn't commend Spike Lee for his accurate depiction of San Francisco at the time. He just flat out fucking ignores it. Then becomes governor and puts on this Black Lives Matter. And Spike Lee fucking sold out, does the same shit. He goes, Black Lives Matter, grab a new song.
All right, Taylor. Well, got any final thoughts on Kyle
Sucker Free
Rittenhouse?
City. We're talking about Kyle still, man. Kyle.
All right, yeah. We're all right. On anything we have to discuss and what have you.
Trump gets reelected in November. The liberals are outraged about that. Nobody remembers Kyle. The judge just throws it out. The same thing with fucking Chauvin and George Floyd. We already forgot about him. We got Jacob Blake now. It's all that when Trump gets reelected, the liberals' outrage will be focused at that. And all this stupid shit's gonna get swiped right the fuck off the table. And it's gonna be more making shit up about Trump, making fun of veterans and doing other stupid shit. Telling his followers to inject disinfectants.
Well, first and foremost,
There's
when he
nothing
was
to
talking
mention.
about disinfectant, he wasn't talking about like cleaning supplies and shit. He's talking about the material UV rays used to go into the veins for cancer patients and shit. He wasn't talking about like fucking Clorox bleach, Tide, that jazz. I mean, remember when those kids was fucking eating them damn Tide Pods and getting sick? Guess what? Nobody blamed Trump for that then, and nobody got fucking outraged and shit. I mean, people got outraged, people got upset, but guess what? No one blamed. Nobody blamed Trump.
If I was like Oakland, just where the Black Panthers are from.
Right? You know what we did? We called those kids fucking stupid because that's what the fuck they were. They were fucking stupid.
You know who started the Black Panthers?
No. I'm not black enough.
Bobby Seale and Huey P. Newton, and Felix Mitchell was involved too, but Bobby Seale, Huey P. Newton. The reason I know that is because they're from the East.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I used to live in the East. There's a mural of Huey P. Newton. Everyone knows who they are from Oakland, and that's what they started. That the Black Fist is Bobby Seale. If you see a white boy with a black fist tattooed to his neck, you should beat his ass, just like the people here at Oakland would do to a white boy with a fucking fist tattooed to his neck, because they do not know what that means.
Okay. Hey, and guess what?
You
know what white boy had a black fist tattooed to his neck?
Huh? No, but the police shot a guy, right? What's his name that shot the troublemaker in San Francisco? They show a picture of the guy, he got a fucking black fist on his neck. And I said, man, I know what that black fist, I know who's the originator of that black fist. He's a legend from my hometown, Oakland, California. His name is Bobby Seale. There's a mural of him on MacArthur Boulevard.
Right.
Next to Huey P. Newton, the founders of the Black Panther Party. And if you were a white boy with a black fist on your neck in Oakland, you wouldn't last 2 minutes. That would be reason enough for them to come fucking whoop your ass to within an inch of your life. You don't know what that means. That black fist, you're throwing up a fist for me to go, right? They think you're fisting, right, them the direction of the projects to go back.
All right. So, Taylor, what I was going to say before I indiscriminately went back on my screen here. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So, yeah, to answer your my question there, the white guy who had a black fist on his neck, he's now dead.
Yeah, he was shot
on Thursday. Shot by the police. That guy, I don't know, like, what he was fucking thinking, where his brain was at when he murdered that man, because he's definitely a murderer. The difference between him and Kyle Rittenhouse is this guy was definitely a terrorist. Rittenhouse was not. Kyle Rittenhouse turned himself in. This guy did not. Had to have fugitive task force agents come out for him. Kyle Rittenhouse didn't have to have fugitive task force agents come out for him. And also, at the scene of the crime, when he was walking towards the police, they like to say he was walking towards the police with the gun in his hand. He had his hands up in the fucking air like this with his gun dangling at his side, walking down the street and ready to explain to the police what he had just done. So, ladies and gentlemen, what we have here is a failure a failure to identify what is a terrorist and what is not a terrorist, what is a racist and what is not a racist. We have here is a failure to objectively come to a logical conclusion on, you know, the state of shit. But it is what it is, neither here nor there. I want to thank all of you for viewing. I want to thank KB for hopping in and joining the conversation. Greatly appreciated, good sir. And to that sexy mamacita, tu madre a puta sucia, thank you once again. I really appreciate you coming through and fucking with your assorted opposite beliefs and approach. Yeah, we're gonna get this John popping. TMM News Media. We're gonna be on there. You know what I'm saying, right, Taylor? We're gonna get this John rocking and rolling.
Stupid liberals.
And
conservatives. We'll go back to conservatives if this fucker Biden gets elected, but
what do you mean go back? I'm gonna always be conservative. I'm no longer I left the plantation. I escaped. I no longer live in the fucking hood. I live in a different hood. I live out here in Glendale, Arizona. I'm one of them niggas folk who fucking got his ass the fuck up and got gone. I'm like, and I ain't gotta stick around for this gentrification bullshit. I ain't gotta stick around for this liberal bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I fucking got up and gone.
A message for Antifa people: if you don't want to rock the black fist, it should be white and rock the black fist. That the place to go is Oakland, MacArthur Boulevard, East Oakland.
You gonna get
so 88th and MacArthur.
Shot, beat the fuck up.
No, Ray. This is the city of Black Lives Matter. This is the mecca of that black fist. There's a big fucking Bobby Seale with a black fist spray painted to a wall down there. I invite you all to my hometown of Oakland, California, to, you know, the mecca, right? Why don't you all gather here in Oakland to celebrate your views on Black Lives Matter and social injustice with the folks that lived it, the OGs.
Right.
Bobby Seale's still alive.
They you know they won't. You know these.
Bobby
You know them.
Seale.
You know them.
His name is Bobby Seale.
Taylor.
They're on Facebook. Taylor. He's the co-founder of the Black Panther Party.
You know that Marxist terrorist organization known as Antifa is not going to fucking go down there and fucking hang out with a whole bunch of black people and shit and be talking about Black Lives Matter. Them black people gonna fuck them up. They gonna fuck them up and tell them they don't know shit about racism. They should go back to their fucking cushy homes in the fucking suburbs where they fucking belong. Man, don't shoot them people. Don't get them people beat the fuck up, get their iPhones stolen and shit.
You know, Huey Newton died on the corner, right? Bancroft. He got shot down there by a drug dealer.
Yeah.
The founder of the Black Panthers himself, co-founder with Bobby Seale. Bobby Seale's still alive. Go ahead. Feel free, white people, to message him on Facebook and see how he feels about your Black Power Fist. Name's Bobby Seale. Co-founder of the Black Panther movement in Oakland in the 60s. He's a good guy. He didn't accept my friend's request, but he's friends with my friend Damien. He's also a black militant.
You're not a black militant, are you?
I'm not. No.
That's racist that he didn't accept your friend request.
Well, Bobby Seale didn't. Of course not. I'm the white devil, but my friend Damien, right, I grew up with, so he has to deal with me.
You're not the white devil.
Well, yeah. Well,
oh my gosh, Bobby Seale. I'm gonna look him up. I bet he'll accept my friend request. He'll probably accept that job. Be like, "What is this rape?" And then see all that Trump 2020 shit on my fucking time. I'll be like,
"Fucker owed me $20. He has to deal with me." So, yeah, Bobby Seale. Right, look him up. Say, I support your Black Panther movement. I got your Black Panther fist that you threw up. I would like to join. I got a neck piece of your fist, your Black Panther fist, your Black Power fist right here on my neck. I would love to join your movement.
You're retarded. Let's get out of here. OMG. Let's get out of here. Get some sleep and shit. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for tuning in to TMM News, Troublemakers Media. We're going to get this John popping. We'll have a Patreon up and running and shit for the show, so that way we can keep you guys entertained and up to date on the news and all that good jazz, so we can up our production value here going down the road. We are news with edge. Is that correct? Journalism with integrity, edge.
Integrity.
Yeah, with an edge to it that does not have the bent of bias or any of that crap. Yeah, whatever the bullshit Taylor was talking about. Yeah, Biden fucking wins. We'll liberal.
We're not outright biased.
Biden. I'm never going.
We're not
liberal. I'm
outright
staying
biased.
100% conservative. I am a middle of the road on my politics. I love my guns. You know, I don't mind people smoking weed. You know, I don't mind people fucking not having abortions and having abortions and shit. You know, I'm not gonna knock folks for being gay and shit and all that. But at the end of the day, fiscally, we gotta do something about our country's budget. There's just too much at fucking stake. We gotta get our country. We have to keep our country going great. President Trump is doing a damn thing. Go ahead, Taylor. What you got to say? Nothing.
Huh?
You got it on your phone, man. What you got?
I got distracted because I think we're past the bias. These motherfuckers literally tell their own lies for themselves to believe them, and they still call it news. Like you see all the shit that happened on social media today over Trump saying that he didn't like the Vietnam War and didn't like John McCain. It turned to outright assault against veterans, which is actually what liberals do. They're not biased, man. They're fucking liars trying to convince themselves and anybody who's sub-stupid to them, like sub-stupid. Their level of stupidity is unattainable by anyone besides them. They want people that are less intelligent to join their ranks.
We live in a country where, Taylor, we live in a country where immigrants can come to this country. Foreign folks can come to this country and do far better than us. You know what I'm saying? And I think there's a problem with that.
Just not pay attention to what we're doing and do the fucking what you couldn't do in your country, like make money.
Right.
And that's how the immigrants succeed here. That's what America is, right? That's what unfortunately, we have to come to the realization that that's the worldview that matches the Republicans and not the Democrats. They want to cordon you off and make profits, make you into lawnmowers and servers and menial jobs, and they want you to stay there and be comfortable. They give you EBT cards. They'll give you medical benefits so you could stay and be content with your lives. They don't want you to become overnight millionaires.
Sure. All right, ladies and gentlemen, y'all know the deal. Stay broke. Get woke. Stay broke. All right. And if you don't, you're a fucking joke. I'm Ray Bay. I am the Ray Bay, and I'm joined here with Pastor Taylor. You folks enjoy your fucking wonderful weekend and shit. Labor Day. Heard it's going to be very violent, bloody, and deadly. And we'll be back on Monday and shit to talk about the events of the weekend. And if anything great and gratuitous unfolds, we might be back sooner than that. With that, I pass.